For our repeater step, there are no real prerequisites, but we're going to look at this on 2 levels. So we're going to start off with just the basic steps, what foot is doing what when. Then we're going to look at how we can level this up a little bit. Because what takes something from being beginner, basic, up to something quite special is the details. Now, if you are beginner level, I would not expect you to even necessarily want to start working on that next level today, and I would probably just focus on the basic steps, because the extra details of movement come when we don't have to think about the basics. Our brain can only cope with so many things to think about at once, okay? But if you're more advanced, I really recommend you spend some time trying to jazz this up a little bit today. And if you're more beginner level, come back another day once you've really got the movement ingrained, and then we can talk about those little details. Now, I have to say, the way that I've stylized this in the leveling up section is personal to me. So there are a billion other ways you could potentially do this movement and make it your own. So as always, everything I provide you with is really just suggestions. There's no rules, okay? Pole is entirely made up. So if you want to just go rogue and do your own thing, put your own style on it, I actually really recommend this, because the best pole dancers don't try to imitate other people. They lean into the way that their body naturally wants to move. Okay, let's go for the general breakdown where I just do inside and outside terminology. For this section, I usually recommend you just watch, because we're going to do it together on right and left, and it's going to be clearer and slower when we do it together, okay, in many respects. So we are going to start off with the pole next to us. For this sequence, we go for arms low. Now there are options, we'll talk about this more later, but you can keep both hands on, or you can be swapping hands as you're moving. You could bring in arm movements, okay? I'm not stressing about that at this point. So we start with the pole next to us, and we are going to have our inside hand on the pole. We are going to step inside leg first, then we're going to step outside leg. We're going to turn to face the pole as our outside hand comes on, if it wasn't already. So both hands on. I'm going to then swish my hips, leading with my front leg. So the leg that I've just stepped on, I'm going to push that hip all the way around. So I'm taking the weight into that foot. I'm then going to take my leg that's been left behind, I'm going to circle it out to the side in a big circle, and I'm basically turning myself around. So I'm coming to the other side of the pole. So I turn and I step behind onto that leg. I'm then going to bring my inside leg, or what becomes my inside leg, through. Okay, then we start again. It's just the same thing over and over and over again. Important thing to remember is we are constantly shifting from one foot to the other. So if you watch my feet, inside, outside, comes outside, but I'm swapping to the other foot. Swap, 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 swap. Okay, so you never step on one foot more than once. You're not doing like step, step. I don't even know how you would do that. Remember, we're constantly shifting our weight. So let's do that again. I'll do a back view as well, and then we'll go for that left and right. And we're going to do it really slowly, and we'll talk about that more in a minute. So inside hands on, you could have both hands on. Doesn't really matter which hand is on top too much. I think I tend to go inside, but it's up to you. So we step inside leg, we step outside leg. We swish our hips as we take our weight into that leg that we've just stepped into. So we draw a big circle out and forwards. We then take our leg that we've come off of and we circle it all the way behind us. Okay, it drags along the floor, it circles, and I turn, so I'm facing my front again. This is really important. You want to think about angles. So I've started facing my audience, my camera, my mirror, the point that I have chosen as the front of the room, and as I turn here, I'm facing it again. Now I've switched to that outside leg, so now my inside leg is coming through to the other side of the pole. I shift my weight to that leg, and we start again. Let's do a back view. So the window is my audience. I step on my inside leg. I step on my outside leg. Now I'm going to swish my hips. So the leg that is in front, that outside leg, my hips are going in that direction. So if that's your left leg, your hips will go to the left. If it's your right leg, your hips will go to the right. We'll do left and right more in a minute. Swish. I then take my weight into that foot, and what becomes my sort of outside leg is going to circle all the way until I face my front again. Now I bring what becomes my inside leg through. What I'm realizing breaking this down is inside and outside is really confusing with this one because it constantly changes. So the left and right will be more helpful for you. And then I bring my leg through and I start again. Let's just do one more. This is more of a visual at this point, okay? When we do the left and right, it's going to make more sense for you. So we step inside, outside, swish the hips towards that leading leg. Now take the weight into that leg and circle the other one behind. It's going out. So if it's your right leg, it's going to the right. If it's your left leg, it goes to the left. Circle it all the way until you can face your front. Okay, this is my front. My inside leg then comes up and goes across, and then I come through. I start again. Step, step, swish, turn. Bring the leg through. Okay? So I do think what's going to be a lot more helpful is the left and right. I recommend you do this with me. Now, top tip, don't fucking move anything unless I tell you to. I say this quite often. When people go wrong, it's because they've moved something they didn't need to. So we're going to go very slow. Okay, I'm going to give you plenty of time to figure out what's going on. And you're just going to follow me along with me. Okay, now you may need to be able to see me to begin with, but after a few practices, my voice should be enough to guide you, hopefully. Okay, so pick your front of the room. I'm going to do a back view so that you can see. We'll do a front view as well. We'll do a back and a front view for right and left. Right now, my window is my front. I want you to pick a point in your room, and that is your front. Okay, that is who you're performing to. Mine is my window. So the pole is on my right. Let's start with the right. My hand is quite low. We don't want it high. I mean, you could do it high for this one, but what happens when the arm is high is it actually inhibits some of your movement. When it's lower, you can get bigger hip movements. We're going to talk about that when we level it up in a minute. So right hand's quite low. Sort of like head height, shoulder height, somewhere between there. Pole is on my right. I'm going to step on my right foot first, just forwards. Weight goes into the right foot. I'm then going to step again forwards onto my left leg, and the weight is going into that leg as I swish my hips. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stick my bum out, and then I'm going to circle it clockwise, okay, or to the left. Okay, and now at this point, the pole's almost on my left. My right leg is going to circle to the right or clockwise. I'm going to keep going until I'm facing my front and I'm stepping behind. So I keep turning my hips until I face my front. My left leg is going to come up. It's going to step through. I bring my right leg through. And we're back where we started. Let's do that again. So pole is on my right. Right hand is on the pole low. Remember, this left hand you can kind of keep on, take it off. It's really up to you at this point, whatever feels good. So we step right, left. Stick the bum out and swish the hips. So as I stick my bum out, I'm also sticking my chest forwards. Okay, that's an exaggeration, but I'm thinking chest forwards, bum sticking out. And I swish my left hip to the left or clockwise. The weight is now in my left foot. Right foot is going to circle to the right or clockwise. And I'm going to look to my audience as I turn. So I'm stepping right back. My left leg comes off, it comes through, I'm back to the beginning. Okay, and you can repeat this as many times as you want. I recommend, I'm going to do a front view as well, but I do recommend you go back as many times until it's natural. Okay, you want to be able to do this without any thought before we try and jazz it up. So still on the right side now, let's go for a front view so you've got all the different angles. Right hand is on the pole, pole is on my right. I step right, I step left. I stick my bum back and my chest forwards, and I swish my hips towards my front leg, my left leg. So left or clockwise. the weight comes into the left foot. My right leg now is going to circle out to the right, okay, or clockwise. And it keeps going until I've done almost an entire turn, not quite. So I'm facing my front. So you guys have been my front since the beginning of this one. Now I bring up my left leg and I step through. Right leg comes through, okay? So step right, left, swish the hips to the left, circle the leg to the right, onto the right foot, left leg comes through. One more time. Step right, left, swish hips to the left, weight is in the left foot, right foot circles to the right or clockwise. I'm just pivoting on my left foot until I'm facing my audience. I step back, left leg comes through to the other side of the pole, back to where I started. Okay, let's do the left side. How much you practice the left side? This can be interesting. So we do a back and a front view like before. Each are going to be useful at different points of the movement visually, okay? So left, the pole is on the left. Left hand is on. You can have your right hand on too if you want, or you can leave it off for now. So we step left. We step right. We stick the bum out, chest forwards. The hips swish to the right or anti-clockwise, like draw a big circle with your bum. The weight goes into the right foot. I forgot to say as well, the mirror is my audience, okay? Not mirror. The window is my audience. This is my front. Weight is in my right foot. Left leg is going to circle to the left or anti-clockwise. Anti-clockwise. Oh my God, my brain today. Guys, I am so... doesn't work. Left leg going anti-clockwise or to the left. Step back until you're facing your audience. Your weight is in your left leg. Right leg comes up, it steps through to the other side of the pole, and the left leg comes to join it. Step left, right, hip swish to the right or anti-clockwise. I'm going to keep turning on that right foot. So my left leg comes up, it goes to the left, anti-clockwise. I step behind until I'm facing my audience. Right leg comes through. Okay, let's do a front view. So now you are my audience. Left hand is on, pole is on the left. We're going to step left, right, swish the hips into the right hip, okay? We're leading with that right hip. So we're going anti-clockwise. Circle with the left leg. The weight is in my right foot. Left leg circles to the left or anti-clockwise. It steps behind. You want to do quite a big step. Shift the weight into that left leg. Right leg comes through. Left leg comes through. We start again. Left, right, swish the hips right or anti-clockwise. Take the left foot off. You can drag it along the floor so it's got contact, or you can bring it in the air. You could even bend it. Again, these are stylistic options. We'll talk more about that in a moment. Circle to the left, all the way as you step back. Okay, it's quite a big step back. Right leg comes up, right leg goes through. We start again. Okay, so go back and practice both sides as many times as you need to. Get super, super comfortable. Now we're going to try to level it up a little bit. The first thing to say is that the basic way of doing this can still be very effective and still look very good, because it's about how you hold yourself, it's about your energy, okay? But we can add some things into it to make it a little bit more sassy. So this is a lot harder to teach these kinds of skills, because I think there needs to be some base level understanding of how to move your body in all kinds of ways. Okay, so we got that very slinky, snaky thing. And realistically, I'm not a trained actual dance teacher per se. I'm a pole dance teacher. So I do think if you struggle with these kinds of things, that going to other types of dance classes can also be really useful, okay? I also do have a class on what to do with your hands and arms. So that can also be super, super handy, although maybe less so with this sequence. So I'm just going to show you how I do this when I'm making it super exaggerated, okay? But again, there's no real rules. Do what feels good for your body. So what I tend to do is over-exaggerate my hip and chest movements. So I start with my inside leg, and I'm going to think about like taking my hips into that inside leg. When I go to my outside leg, we've already done this exaggeration, okay? I added that actually into the basic tutorial because it's a kind of a more simple one, but actually you can just kind of turn your hips rather than swish your hips. Then as I'm doing my turn out, I'm thinking about opening my chest and sticking my chest out, and I'm leaning out, and I'm thinking feet close to the pole. And then I'm going to scoop my chest through to the other side. So it's like the first half is my hips leading, the second half it's my chest leading, okay? And something else you may notice is I tend to get my feet quite close to the pole. This allows me distance, okay? It either leaves me distance for my hips to swish back or for my chest to come away. If we're upright, we can, but look at the difference in like the position. Okay, this is harder to get. I could kind of make the shapes look snaky and beautiful. So let's just think about the hips and the chest first, and then we'll talk about the hands. So we step inside leg. I can really, on my first step, I can really pop my hips. I'm pushing my hip out towards my standing leg. I step on my outside leg, and I swish, and I'm really exaggerating. And I'm also thinking about the speed that I'm doing this. You could do this super slow, or you could do it really fast. Depends what energy you want to bring to the sequence. There's no rules. And then again, as I go for my second half, so this leg circles out behind me, and now my chest starts to stick out. I'm going to stick my boobs out and away from the pole, and my feet come in quite close. This then allows me to go through, and you can kind of like drag the leg through, you can step it through, you can drag it on the floor, and I'm leading my chest like a snake, arching through to the other side before I start again. Hip, inside leg, hip, outside leg, chest, as I'm coming back, through chest. Okay, so again, lots of options. Don't have to do what I've just suggested, but that's kind of the way that I've been doing it if I'm really over-exaggerating it. Now, the second thing to think about is really keeping up on those tippy toes. Step, step, swish. Okay, if you watch, this is me up on my tippy toes. This is me if I'm not really thinking about my feet. Now, it's not that it looks bad, per se, but being up on the tippy toes gives the illusion of those longer legs, okay? It does make it look a little bit nicer. Yeah, it's all subjective, okay? It's up to you. But that's another thing you can think about, is keeping really elevated throughout your movements. The final is the arms. So like I said, there is a whole class on this. So go and have a look at it, because it's going to teach you some really fundamental basics that are going to help with all the hand and arm movements you do. So with this one, we could just keep both hands on the pole at all times. They don't have to come off at all. But there are a couple of points where maybe we could take a hand off. So for example, at the beginning, we step on the inside leg, we could be circling the outside arm to the pole. And then when we step back and we hit that leg behind us, we could take the same arm out and through, okay? So first half of the movement, we would take the outside arm from our starting position, and then we do the same on the other. So now we're going backwards, and we're doing the second half of our movement. Our outside arm could come off. There's all kinds of things we could be doing with our arms as we do this, okay? So there's no real rules. We could put our hands on our hip. We could be real sassy and swap which hand is on the hip. We could touch ourselves, okay? We could do whatever we want. So I'm hoping that's at least given you a few ideas of how you could play with this. But again, no rules. I want you to put some music on that you really feel good dancing to. Makes you feel sexy, it makes you feel excited, whatever it makes you feel, okay? Even if it makes you angry, we can bring whatever energy we're feeling to our movement, okay? And maybe just see what your body wants to do. That's how we discover things. That's how we find our own style. It's just by allowing ourselves to be without stressing about how we're supposed to be doing something. Okay. All right, my puppy is crying downstairs because it's his lunchtime and I think he needs the toilet. So we're going to wrap this up. But hopefully you've enjoyed that one. Don't forget, if you do it, film it and tag us at Practical Pole. And if you have any questions, if you're stuck on something, if you're lost, pop me a message. I am here to help. And finally, don't forget to train smarter, not harder.